All right. I think we can start now. I started the recording. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, Dunit, we
All
can
right.
see this.
All right. Let's get started now. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all joining from different parts of the world. Um, I welcome you all to the third episode of Colombo Data and AI Meetup. I know folks joining from South Asian region, especially India and Sri Lanka, is quite late for you, but I really appreciate you taking time to join us. I welcome you all. I'm Dunit Danushka. I'm the host of today, and also I'm the moderator of your questions, and I'm also the founder of this meetup group. For those who are new today, or if you are coming here for the first time, let me quickly introduce who we are and what we do. So, Colombo Data and AI Meetup is an online platform to connect data professionals together and collaborate, learn from each other, and help out each other in their career journey. So this is originally based in Colombo, capital of Sri Lanka, but it's a virtual platform, so anyone can join us here. In terms of topics we cover, we cover uh, industrial topics including data engineering, data analytics, and BI. Pretty much standard topics you can find in your careers, and then machine learning, and also we try to cover bleeding edge, cutting edge areas like generative AI and agentic AI workflows as well. So we operate in a monthly cadence. That means you will see events like this once a month, and we generally announce our these events in meetup.com. So if you join our meetup group on meetup.com, you will get regular updates on the new schedules and the past recording updates, uploads, as well as things. And then we also have a Facebook companion Facebook page, so you can tune in to receive more updates and announcements as well. So for asynchronous communication, we have a Slack workspace. I'll talk about that in the later slide. And then we have a YouTube channel as well. This is where you can find the past session recordings. So don't worry if you miss any session. You can always go back to our YouTube channel and find it there. I'll post all the links to these things while the session happens. So don't worry about it. So this is the Slack workspace I mentioned. So in order to make it more engaging and find it more dynamic, so we thought of launching this Colombo Data and AI Meetup Slack workspace. You can scan this QR code and join it. The benefit you can find here is you will see all the community uh, there. So that could be students, data professionals, experts, or anyone who's looking for a data space, job in the data space, or anyone who's hiring someone from this community. So you can find everyone there. Um, I highly recommend you joining there. In terms of agenda today, so we have a pretty interesting lineup of events. The main segment will be delivered by my friend Pubudu Dewagama. I'll talk about Pubudu in a few minutes, but in a high level, Pubudu will deliver Microsoft Power BI getting started session. And then before handing over to Pubudu, I'll take maybe 10 or 15 minutes to just to explore and explain what are the different career roles available in the data and AI space. So let me quickly cover that. This data and AI space, it's a very broad space. So in a couple of weeks ago, we saw the launch of DeepSeek model by China. And then if you go back maybe 4 or 5 years, you wouldn't even heard of this ChatGPT, Claude, or anything, because it all came in the last 4 or 5 years. And then if you go back maybe 10 years, you wouldn't have heard of this modern data stack or data lake houses, iceberg stuff. It's pretty new. And even if you go another 15 years, you wouldn't even heard of big data. That's how dynamic is this field. So as a data professional in this field, I've seen different career roles come and go. So, so if you are a university student or a fresh graduate, or if you are already in the data space and looking forward to change your career paths, and it would be really essential for you to understand different roles in this space. And then by knowing that, you can prepare for interviews, you can you can learn new skills, and you can prepare yourself to transition to that. So that's the goal of this session. To get started, I thought of bringing you a fictitious example. So let's say we have Acme Corporation. It's a big enterprise. So they have uh, this transactional database. So it's just imagine it's an online store. So they're using transactional database, probably Postgres, for their transactional things. So basically, they have their orders, invoices, customers, everything stored in this single database. Now, this uh, Acme Corp is getting more traction in the market, and the business is growing. And then they wanted to expand their platform to add more analytics and AI use cases, because they want to grow more revenue, reduce cost, and provide more improved customer service. So having that in mind, they try to build a data team. So there are different names: data platform team, data science department, data team, or just data team. We call it in the field, it's just a data team. So how do they do that is they have different personas here. So uh, I'll show you how they would kick off this project. So first thing is they have different camps. Like they have the box you see in this left is the operational systems. So these are the single um, source of truths. These are the systems of records. So this could be transactional database. What do you call it? Then we have ERP, CRMs, and those kind of things. And then on the right hand side, we have uh, this data platform. This is where we have data warehouse, or could be a data lake, or in even now today we have data lake houses, and then we have machine learning models and data pipelines and etc. So the way they kick off the project is they build a data pipeline to move this operational data into this data lake house. Let's just say data lake house, but it could be something like a data warehouse or a data lake. It doesn't matter. What matters is you move this data into a central location where you can query this data efficiently. So it could be something like a columnar database with vectorized query capabilities. And then around this architecture, we have different people working together. So for example, we have data engineer building these pipelines, and then we have analyst working on creating these dashboards, and then we have data scientists, ML engineers, and so on. So I'll walk you through each role while giving you uh, understanding of what their skill set required, and what kind of tools they are using on daily basis. The first person would be the database administrator. So this is the person, as you can see, he's directly managing this transactional database. So basically, his responsibility is to maintain this transactional database so that there will be no outages for the operational systems. In a way, he belongs to the operational team, but he has to work with the data team to get certain things done. Things he would do is he will do the data regular backups, and also he'll do troubleshooting issues. Like for example, if an application developer complains that the database is slow, he will quickly monitor what's going on and how many connections are supporting and these kind of things. So that's what he usually do. Also, he does this security provisioning. He creates different users, roles, and grants access to different database objects in the database. If you want to be a DBA, I think Pubudu also can add to this later in his presentation. These are the things you need to learn. You need to be proficient in SQL, and also to work with database. And also you need to be hands-on with performance tuning, because there can be certain situations where you need to create indexes to fast make the queries faster. And backup and recovery, pretty much high availability and scalability concerns. And the tool set is quite coupled with the database itself, but we can identify different cross-cutting tools across the board. Something like we have DB, and then few other tools they'll be using to log into different databases. In our case, since the database is Postgres, it could be easily Postgres admin, um, monitoring tools, and CLIs, backup tools. These are the things. And then we have data engineer. So this person builds and maintains data pipelines that moves operational data into this analytical storage. So it could be, uh, for example, this data engineer can build a pipeline to, let's say, batch ETL pipeline to read the production database at night, and then copy it and do some transformation in the middle and load it to data warehouse for analysis. So we call these pipelines ETL pipeline, as you are familiar with, extract, transform, load pipeline. So their job is to read data from these source systems, apply transformations, and load it to downstream analytical system. And um, yeah, and then in terms of skills, most of the data engineers today are working very closely with Python, or it could be Java. So they need to have hands-on experience with these two languages. And then also they'll be working very closely with SQL, because they need to have some kind of a knowledge, very deep knowledge on data modeling, because they are the people who usually develop these schemas in the data warehouses, and they need to have hands-on, very thorough knowledge on different schemas like star schemas and snowflake schemas, and how to transform this data within their data pipelines to match these uh, schema methods. And then, of course, they need to have hands-on experience with cloud platforms, because lots of vendors nowadays, they go to the cloud for scalability and cost efficiency. So pretty much experience with AWS, GCP, and Azure, all major three cloud platforms is highly recommended. And a bit of distributed computing is needed, because to write a data pipeline, most probably people use Spark, Apache Spark. So it could be either Java Spark or Spark SQL or PySpark. No matter what language you use, Spark is a distributed system, and you need to have a bit of sense about how a distributed system works, because that's that's a different world. So you don't have to troubleshoot distributed system, because Spark deployments are mostly managed by someone like Databricks or uh, AWS, but you need to get familiar with the underlying concepts. In terms of regular tools, we have, like I said, you can use Spark for writing jobs, or Python, and then you can use Apache Airflow or Dagster to schedule them. So, if it is a batch pipeline, then you need to schedule them in a regular intervals, and uh, that way they will continue to run, and the engine will make sure the pipeline will be reliably run. And if it fails, the engine will reschedule it in a different manner. Also, there's this thing called extract load transformation, ELT. That means you first load data to the data lake house or warehouse, or whatever the lake house first, and then you write transformations later. So it's quite different to ETL. So that's why we use tools like DBT. And then major warehouses, Knowledge, Snowflake, BigQuery, and Redshift. These are the big three. You need to get familiar with these things. Um, right. And then once the data get moved into the warehouse or whatever, the lake house or lake, analysts can start his reporting. So this is the person who creates dashboards. He writes queries to create dashboards. So if he needs some kind of a data, let's say if this data analyst wants to get access to past 5 years of customer transactions, he should request fi- uh, add a support ticket to data engineer, and he'll do the data preparation, and he will load the data into some shareable location, and then analysts can start working on it. Also, analysts can perform ad hoc queries, SQL queries to run experiments. Also, he can generate reports for management, collaborate with business stakeholders to align their vision. So basically, this person, data analyst, is a strategic person. He can detect trends happen in the business in the past, and he can project what's going to happen next as well. Skills, strong SQL request query writing skills. So this could range from writing simple queries to doing things like common table expressions, advanced material as views, and those kind of things. And then we need this person needs uh, statistical knowledge, especially this regression and these kind of things. Uh, of course, this analyst requires data visualization expertise, because he needs to be able to by tell a story in visual manner by looking at the data. So this Power BI is one of the tool that we are going to look at it today. So that's how it relates. And also, this person need to have business domain knowledge as well, because he's going to speak to communicate these results to the business users rather than technical users. So he should be able to map these technical data domain into his business domain. Tool set, you must be familiar with Tableau, Power BI, and Looker. These are the big three. And then if you go open source, then we have Apache Superset as well. And then working with SQL clients, because you want to access the data warehouse more frequently. And for smaller workloads, experiment tracking, you can use Microsoft Excel, which I think Pubudu will show you as well. And also, you need a bit of Python and R for a bit of statistical modeling as well for advanced use cases. Um, I should mention that there's this hybrid role called analytics engineer. This role sits in middle of a data engineer as well as a data analyst. So, what this role came in like 2 or 3 years ago with the rise of DBT, and then I don't see that role uh, popular, but keep that in mind. There's this analytic engineer role is there still. What he can do is, without reaching out to data engineer, he can do data extraction by himself. He can build the data pipeline by himself. So that's the difference. And then we have ML engineer. This person will develop and deploy machine learning models. So basically, this is the operational person. So, for example, if this Acme Corp wants to build a recommendation engineer, this machine learning engineer will do all the model training, deployment, monitoring, and fine tuning tasks. So in order to become an ML engineer, you need Python. It's your daily bread and butter. And also you need to have a deep understanding of different ML algorithms, uh, statistical modeling, uh, especially PyTorch and TensorFlow, because these are the end-to-end platforms that you could use to build a machine learning application. Of course, you need to be familiar with this ML ops or machine learning operations. It's quite similar to the DevOps you see in the software development. So, and then Kubeflow and Docker and Kubernetes mostly, and MLflow for experiment tracking. So we'll talk about these tools in the coming session, but just keep that in mind. These are the things you should at least mention in your CV, or at least start looking at it if you want to become a ML engineer. And then we have data scientist. He focuses on advanced analytics and statistical modeling. In short, a data scientist builds the data model, the machine learning model, and he conducts experiments like A/B. He designs uh, experiments like A/B tests, and he asked the machine learning model engineer to operationalize these models, and that's how the thing works. And then ML engineer then work closely with the data engineers to get the data he requires. Things you need, of course, it all goes back to the statistics and mathematics. So data engineer must have these statics, this knowledge, and then Python and R programming skills, because these are like his day-to-day programming languages. Uh, a collection of machine learning algorithms, like, for example, we have random forest, k-means, and supervised and based, both unsupervised learning, deep learning, so these kind of things, neural networks, and also data visualization, because data scientist also has to communicate with business users in certain way to to do more projections, like predictions. Also, so these are like different skills he has to have. Mostly these data scientists work with Jupyter Notebook environments. If you logged into Databricks or something, then you will see these Jupyter notebooks. Or even in Google, you have Google Colab. You can use it for that. And then you should be at least familiar with building a model with scikit-learn, using pandas or NumPy libraries, these kind of things. And for visualization, they will use these Python libraries like Matplotlib or Seaborn within Jupyter Notebooks, because Jupyter Notebook is it's like his workspace. So scientists will share this thing with collaborative department users. Right, final role, AI engineer, which came in a few years ago, not too far. This role became popular when this generative AI hype became real and practical, and so there's this divide. So earlier days we had this machine learning department. So this is where we build models, train it, and then deploy and monitor. So that is classic AI, classic ML. And then today we have this generative AI. It's where we work with pre-trained large language models. This is where we get a large language model like OpenAI or Claude or DeepSeek, and do some fine tuning and build some kind of a RAG pipelines, RAG, retrieve augmented generated pipelines, to build customer facing AI applications. So in terms of this Acme Corp, it could be something like developing a customer support chatbot. Because, you know, it's pretty easy today to build a chatbot rather than building a machine learning model, because you have all frameworks and platforms you need to get it done visually or without writing less amount of code. And then this engineer has to master the art of fine tuning language models with to get necessary output done. For example, if you want to train let's say OpenAI to support your specific business data, then you need to be able to run the fine tuning process as well. Um, so the things you need would be different deep learning expertise, and then working with large language model, and then working with API development, because most of the time these large language models are deployed in the cloud, and your application will be communicating with through API interfaces. So that's why you need this API development experience. You will need to have a bit of natural language processing capabilities as well. And then there will be like vision models and different multimodal algorithms you need to work with, like audio, video, and then uh, text as well. Most of the time, you will be working with large language models, and then you will use binding frameworks like LangChain or Crew AI or something like uh, agentic frameworks as well. Um, and then most of the time you will work with vector databases for RAG pipelines, computational computing embeddings like PG Vector, Pinecone, Milview, and then Quadrant. And I can repeat those names, but just keep that in mind. All right, I think I took more than the time I promised. So I hope you got an idea. If you have any question about these roles, I would like to take a few seconds. If you have any question, feel free to ask that in chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, I'll hand it over to our main speaker today, Pubudu Dewagama. So Pubudu is a renowned data architect with 15 years over 15 years experience in the data platform. I think Pubudu started his journey as a DBA, and then he progressed through his career as a data platform architect. And you can find Pubudu in this LinkedIn profile URL. And Pubudu is joining from Surrey, Canada today. And there's a bit of a personal connection to Pubudu because Pubudu and I are the same batchmates. So we were we used to be in the same uni. I think more than 15 years ago. So I know Pubudu's work well, really well, and the impact he has on the work he delivers to the world. So I thought of inviting him to deliver this session. Without further ado, let me introduce Pubudu and hand it into Pubudu as well. Pubudu, welcome to the session. And I know it's pretty early for you, and thanks for joining today. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dunit. Thanks for warm welcome. I think it's 20 years or 15 years ago friendship we
Yes.
have. Yeah. Okay. So, so today, I think as we planned, we have to discuss and we have to explain the Power BI. It's a
Yes.
famous BI tool provided by Microsoft. So today I will go through how we can use Power BI for your day-to-day operations, whether it's accounts, account executive or data engineer or BI engineer, whatever the persons, they have to have that Power BI experience. So as a kickstart session, I'm going to explain you how to work with that Power BI development. So first thing is, can you hear me properly, Dunit?
Yes, you're all good,
Yeah,
Pubudu.
yeah.
You have, if you can test your screen
Hmm.
sharing, then it could be
Yeah,
perfect. Fine.
let me share my screen
Yeah.
then. Yeah, good. Can you see my screen?
Yes, all good.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So first of all, I will show you how to install a Power BI desktop. The Power BI desktop is basically it's a free product provided by Microsoft, and freely you can download from the Microsoft site. As a first step, we should have our Power BI desktop tool in our Windows machine. So simply you have to open your Power BI desktop. You have to open the browser and just type the install Power BI desktop. Then automatically it will redirect to this link. You can select the first link. Then you can see easily you can download the latest version. And this is free one, as I said earlier. So freely
Right.
you can download, and it's only compatible in the Windows platforms.
I see. So if I have a Mac or Linux, then it's not possible at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment we
Right.
don't have that
Right.
possibility. The
Right.
thing is, as an alternative, what we can do is you can install a VM on your Mac
Oh,
or
right.
yeah, then we can install that one. But I think because it's a Microsoft product, I don't know.
Yeah,
Still, yeah. Anyway,
of
it's
course.
obvious. So we have to go with the Windows operating system.
Right.
And also, yeah, as I said, this is the free product, but since we are using this free product, we have another limitations because once we, as you explained earlier, Dunit,
Hmm.
once we develop our dashboard as a data analyst or BI engineer, so they have to share that reports with the other users like top
Right.
management or whatever the users. So in that case, we have to purchase the license. So
Right.
that is the billing model they have. So basically, there are different type of license like Power BI Pro license, premium per user license. So monthly, the minimum license cost is $10 per month. Yeah, $10 per month per user. So that is
Right.
the licensing cost. But I think I have seen Microsoft has announced they are going to increase that amount 10 to 15 next April. I
Oh,
think for
wow.
yeah, for 7 years they have kept the same amount, but now they are
Right.
going to increase that one. That is the minimum licensing cost.
Right.
So
Right.
simply you can download this one and install. And other thing is, this is a continuous improvement product.
Right.
Monthly basis they are adding some features.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
monthly basis automatically they push the new version into the cloud environment, I mean in their Microsoft site. So monthly basis we can update that Power BI desktop tool with the new
Sounds good.
features. Yeah.
Right.
And also there are a lot of YouTube channels related
Mm.
to that Power BI new features you can refer, and you can get a lot of knowledge on that. Time to time it will improve.
Right.
They will give a
Um,
lot of features there. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
right. That's good. That's yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I think most of the time, if you are working for a company, I think company will give you the Power BI license anyway, right? So you don't have to
Exactly,
personally, right?
exactly.
So
The
and
thing is, it's a we are working with the data. It's very sensitive thing,
right,
so we
right,
can't use our own licensing and own infrastructure. Definitely,
correct,
we they should give that licensing and everything. So no need to worry about that. But if
right.
you want to do some R&D or research thing, we can
Mm,
purchase own licensing.
right,
And I think as a fresh graduate or as a undergraduate, so no need to have that license. You can familiar with that Power BI dashboard development through the Power BI desktop. No need to have that license. So
right,
you can everything, because a lot of all the features available in the Power BI desktop, except that yeah, sharing and other some advanced things. But
right.
as a BI engineer, it's enough to have the Power BI desktop free tool.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So basically, this is the requirement. So I think we can share those links in the description.
Of course.
Downloads the software. So this is about the software. So then already I have installed the Power BI desktop tool. So this is the Power BI desktop interface. So basically, you can see there are a lot of uh, tools and interfaces there, but gradually in our next sessions we will discuss each and every sections, but I will give a brief summary about key interfaces we have to use. So first thing is, as you say, as you can see, there's a file, home, insert, and there are different purposes for each menu. So in addition to that, you can see in the left top corner we have the report view. So
Mm,
in the report view, basically we can create reports, dashboards, or whatever the visualizations for the end users. And also you can see the table view. This is just blank now. The reason is I haven't imported any data into that
mhm.
Power BI desktop. So once I import that one, you can see the data as a Excel tabular mode, tabular format. So this is the data view. So you can do the filtrations, you can do some queries, and lot of things we can do here. In addition to that, the next one is the model view. Model views means something like, if you are familiar with the database management systems, we are drawing some diagrams. So that such kind of things we can implement in the Power BI desktop. So we can join multiple tables, multiple Excel sheets, multiple systems, and we can join based on the data relationships. Okay. So and recently they have added this DAX query. It's another programming language, some kind of a programming language on top of the Power BI. And if you're familiar with the Excels also, you can use that DAX in the Excel. So that is the key features I have to explain. In addition to that, you can see sorry, if you go to the home again, yeah, if you click on this one, so you can see data in the right top corner. We have three panes, but there are more. But when we are working with the additional more development, we can visible those panes. But today I'm going to explain only filters, visualizations, and the data. So data is basically, let's say if you import any data into the Power BI desktop, then it will display list down under data section. Then you can see the column names there. So easily you can drag and drop those fields into your visualization. Even you can create some calculated columns like calculated columns, hierarchies, measures, and new aggregated columns. Those things we can create under this data pane.
Right. Pubudu, small interruption.
Mhm.
So, is it possible to connect to other kind of database, non-Microsoft type database as well?
Yeah.
Is like Microsoft, sorry, MySQL or Postgres or
Yeah.
MongoDB kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah, that's good question, Dunit. Actually, my next point is to explain that part. So
Right.
I will show you what are the source
Sure,
systems
sure.
we can
No,
connect. Yeah.
no, no pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is visualizations. So you can see there are a lot of visualizations provided by Microsoft. In addition to that, there's a marketplace. Freely we can use those visualizations. There's plenty of visualizations we can see. So in addition to that, if you want to add some filters, we can do some filters. And if you want to do some bookmarks and a lot of things we can add. And yeah, there are many things we can do. Later we can discuss in the later sessions.
Yes.
So if I going back to your question, Dunit. So basically in the Power BI, we can connect over 300 data sources. Okay,
Or
so
300.
yeah, over
Wow.
300 data sources we can connect through the Power BI desktop. So
Nice.
you can see in the home menu, there's a menu called Get Data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by default you can see this in canvas in this canvas. You can
Mm-hmm.
connect import data from the Excel, import data from the
Mm-hmm.
SQL server, and there are some frequent using
Mm-hmm.
components. But in addition to that, we can see all the data sources we can connect by click on this Get Data, and
Right.
those are the common data sources. And at the bottom you can see more.
Right.
If I click on this more button, then you can see all the
Mm.
data sources we can connect. So sorry for that. So they have categorized as file. You can see Excel, text, XML, JSON, folder, PDF, even Parquet, in the
Oh,
data
that's
lake house. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Parquet.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. For
and
example, if you have like a Parquet folder somewhere in a S3 bucket, then
mm,
you can import it, right?
definitely we can do that one
Wow.
because it's support. Recently they have added that feature.
That is really handy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the databases, you can see there are a lot of on-premise databases, even
Wow.
MySQL, Oracle, DB2, SAP. There are a lot of Snowflakes, Redshift, as you explained earlier.
Right.
Everything we can connect, and also MariaDB. There are a lot of
Mm.
data. So MongoDB and the non-structured,
Document DB.
yeah,
Yeah.
document DBs we can connect with the Power BI desktop. And the Microsoft Fabric, it's the latest product of
Mm.
the Microsoft for provided by Microsoft. So we can connect to the data lakehouse and data marts, data warehouse, and data flows. Many things we can connect with that one. And the Power Platforms we have different. And the Azure, you can see in the Azure cloud platform we have different storage formats like Azure SQL Server, Azure Blob Storage. Yeah, I can explain.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's
One
yeah.
more question, Pubudu.
Mm,
Yeah, this is all going really well. So, the out of those data roles I mentioned,
mhm.
so which persona, which user role will be using this tool mostly? Is it data analyst or maybe any other? Have you seen in the industry?
As per my understanding, it's more relevant to data analyst
Hmm.
and BI engineer. Sometimes,
Right.
business intelligence engineer. They are
Right.
working with the Power BI desktop tools.
Right. Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. I'll let you carry on. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. So, sorry, I think I mistakenly click on the different one. Yeah. So this is the Power BI desktop tool. So today, as an example, I have taken the Excel file. So this is the sorry, this is the Excel file provided by. Actually, I downloaded from the web. So we can share that one with you. Then when you have a time, you can practice this Excel sheet. So basically, in this Excel sheets, we have three sheets. Orders. You can see there are. Around 10,000 records. So as an example, I am taking this one. So in the return sheets, we have a few records, and the peoples we have a few record. So actually this is the online store. So based on their orders, they have captured the data into the Excel sheet. So for the visualizations purpose, I am going to use this data set. This is a sample data set. We can use that one. So as a next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this data into the Power BI desktop. Then gradually we will develop a small dashboard. Okay, so in order to import the data set, there are different ways to import that data. Simply you can click on this button, or simply you can click on this section, or you can click on the get data and select Excel workbook. There are different alternatives they have provided, because anyway, Microsoft Excel is the again Microsoft product, so easily you can connect. So other thing is I have to highlight. So if you know the Excel, I'm guaranteed you can work with the Power BI, because it's more similar to the Excel. And they are in the Excel, we can create some macros and calculations and those things. The same thing we can use in the Power BI desktop. So don't worry if you know the Excel. I know definitely you should know the Excel. It means you can work with the uh, Power BI desktop. You can master
Right.
the Power BI Excel. That's the key
That,
point I have to highlight here.
that's a good point, Pubudu. I think Excel and Fabric and then Power BI all have this consistent user experience, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like the same user interface icon and everything.
Yes, yes.
Right.
That's true, Dunit. Yeah. So, yeah, then I will import the Excel sheet. So, to import, I will click on this Excel workbook. Then already I have download this one. So, I will select this Excel file. So, in order to, let's say now in the working environment, sometimes you may have multiple Excel sheets. In that case, yes, you can import your multiple Excel sheet into the same Power BI desktop file. Then, Dunit, you will have another question. So, what happened after update that Excel sheets? That's a next question maybe. So, in that case, basically, you can update that Excel file. Then, once you refresh your data in the Power BI desktop file, automatically it will update. No need to worry
Wow.
about that.
Wow.
So
I was never aware of it. And that's a really nice feature.
yeah, so basically, no need to worry about the data side, because simply you have to update the Excel
Right.
file. The just one click, you can update everything in the Power BI desktop side once you develop your dashboard or report or anything. For example, let's say I have seen in many organizations, what they are doing is daily basis they are creating the reports through the Excel.
Right.
But here, once you maintain the single format, and they can append their data daily basis, then once you develop a single dashboard, automatically you can refresh that Power BI desktop
Mm.
file, then automatically it will update. No need to do same thing each and every day. It's
Right.
time saving basically.
That means you don't have to write pipelines or data pipelines, so you have to do
No, nothing.
transfer. It's just you do it once, and then Power BI will take it from there and will
Yes.
update. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will select this one, and you can see I click on the open button. Yeah. So it will connect through my Excel file. It takes some times.
Mhm.
So while loading this one, I have to explain one thing. So sometimes when you are working with the Excel, there are some unclean data there. So we have to
Right.
clean those data, because each column should be in a same format, same data type. So we have to make sure everything is fine. That's the key thing. If not, your dashboard's data will not reflect in a correct way.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
yeah, go ahead, Donny.
no, I had this question about it's like in reality we need to do certain things. Like if you want to clean data, then things like probably you need to scrub users' personal data like email, phone number, and these kind of things. And then also you have to join certain fields together. I think you can give some idea about what do you mean by data cleaning, deduplication and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. The in terms of the data cleaning, basically, sometimes there are some dummy data or test data, and
Right,
we can remove
right,
those things. In addition to that, normally, if the company or your organization is not allowed to show the sensitive data like
yes,
your NIC or birthday or telephone
right,
number, we can remove those things. In
right.
addition to that, sometimes some in the data warehousing concepts we have call for example, I will give a classic example. Some, let's say, we are going to develop the dashboard for an organization.
Hmm.
Then we have to connect data from the different departments. So let's say
Right,
in the HR department, for the gender, sometimes they are using female and male.
right,
Let's say in the finance department, they are maintaining F and M. So
right,
then we
right.
have to get into
Normalize,
this,
I think.
normalize that one into
Right,
single format. So those things we have to do. If not, you can see when you visualize your data set based on the gender, there can be 4 or 5, whatever the
right,
count
right.
you can get. So you have to minimize those things when we are doing our data cleansing process.
Pubudu, you mentioned really good point. So
Mm.
this standardization and normalization. So in reality, in practical organization, where do you keep this standard definitions like KPIs and this like of these kind of things? Is it something like a data catalog or a data dictionary? What?
Yes, actually, in a high-tech company, there's we can use some Microsoft product like Microsoft Purview. It's a,
Uh-huh.
it's a data quality product provided by
Oh, okay, all right,
Microsoft. So
right,
we can do the catalog and specifications and everything. It's a high-tech. If it is a high-tech organizations, definitely they are
mhm,
maintaining like Deloitte, KPMG. They are maintaining
right,
the data catalog because the reason is if you maintain those things, so anyone of the user can easily access that
correct,
repository and they can understand their data. So definitely they have to maintain. It's a bit costly, but if it is a small and medium scale organizations, normally department wise they are keeping their KPIs.
right. That I can also relate an practical example. Say, for example, in your dashboard, let's say we calculate the customer lifetime value,
Mhm.
CLV.
Yeah.
So different organization, different BUs from the same organization might have different views of how to calculate it because it will very really uh, it has different ways of calculating it. I think if we use some kind of a data catalog or some kind of a central solution there, I think we can define this KPI definition there, and then everyone can refer to it. And then I think that would be some kind of a benefit everyone can see.
Yeah,
Um,
true. And in addition to that, I can explain one thing. So when you are developing a dashboards, we can create some multiple pages. I will explain it
mm,
later. So as a initial page, info page, we are highlighting all the KPIs, all the constraints and the
I see.
assumptions, everything we are explaining. Then it's easy for us to, because
Right,
sometimes we are filtering our data in one logic. Sometimes they need
right,
to analyze their data in a different logic. For example, date wise, so we can say it's a start date. Sometimes they will consider as the end date, so based on that our data output will change. So in the front page we are mentioning all the KPIs, all the
right.
assumptions and data sources, everything we capture there. Then it's easy for us. It's applicable only for small and medium level organizations, but as I said, for the enterprise level organizations, definitely they have to go with the standard uh, what do you call that,
Catalog,
catalog
catalog.
and the data
Right.
specifications. And yeah.
It's good to know that, and good that you mentioned Pubudu. Thank you.
Yeah, it's no worries. Yeah, so I think yeah, back to our Power BI desktop. So as I showed earlier, we had 3 sheets. Now it's appear here. So I wanted to have all 3 sheets there. Then I just select these 3 sheets. Now you can see the preview as well. So simply I will load this data into Power BI desktop by click on
Mhm.
this load button. Then you can see uh, it will read the Excel file,
Mhm.
and already it has completed the returns data sheet. Now it's reading orders and people. In the orders sheet, we have over 10,000 records. People's, I think there are few peoples.
So if the file is bigger, I think it will take might take some.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes already I have opened that Excel file. That can be a reasons to get that slowness. Yeah, I don't want to close that one, so I keep as it is. So
That's
anyway,
fine. I think.
yeah, yeah. Already I think, yeah,
So, in your experience, how large a typical Excel file would be? I've seen Excel file with like several GBs in my
yeah.
life. So,
Hmm.
what's your experience on that?
I think in the Excel, latest Excel Office 365 Excel versions, we can keep only 10 million records.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
right,
so that is the maximum, but it's not limitations for the Power BI. Even
right.
I have used over, let's say, 100 million data in the
Okay,
Power
all
BI
right.
side, because we once we purchased our license, they
Uh-huh.
will give a 10 GB storage in the cloud.
Oh, okay,
Then we can
okay,
keep that information. In addition to that, most of the time we are keeping our data in the data lake house or different data layer. So no need to worry about that. So simply they will keep that data in the data lake house. Then for given time frequency, we will refresh our data. Sometimes we will get only the delta records. I mean the changes.
okay, okay. That's good to know. While this file is loading, can you explain what is meant by this Copilot icon? I see in the toolbar, I see there's a Copilot. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
Actually, now Microsoft introduced Copilot for each and every product. Even if you go to the Azure platform, we have Copilot,
right.
and Power BI and the Fabric and Databricks, everything they have.
Mm.
Azure Databricks, they have introduced this one. Now, as I said, we can write some DAX queries. So it's
Uh-huh.
another programming language. So
Right.
sometimes we have to purchase that Copilot license again. But
Ah,
if we have that license, when you are developing something, then if you'll get an error, okay,
yeah.
then
Right.
automatically they will hint this is the error, so this should be the your uh, this is a solution for your error. So if you want, you can apply this one, so it will give that feature.
Right.
So Copilot
Right.
feature, that's very interesting. The thing is, earlier, when we are, early days before coming Copilot into the picture, what we
Right.
did, we Googled everything,
Yes.
and but
Stack
it's not
Overflow.
like that. Yeah. Now,
So this,
yeah, with the Copilot and ChatGPT, even ChatGPT also we can use. Basically, we are using ChatGPT here. So if there is an error, then simply we can say this is the query, and we can paste the error as well. Then automatically
right.
they will give the correct answer. Then we can try out.
This is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's very productive. If you know the basics, it's very productive thing.
Right. Can I also ask the Copilot to write a query for me or something like
No,
that?
right now actually I don't have the license for the Copilot. But
Right.
I think in the later sessions when you are doing, for example, if you are implementing a pipeline, then
Okay.
we have to use the Python. So if there is an error, straight away we can give the code and the error. Just we can ask from the Chat GPT, fix this error. Then they will give the correct one. Then we can
Nice.
try out. Yeah,
I'm
we
looking
can.
forward to that in the
Yeah,
future as well. Yeah. I'll let you carry on with the,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, now it has loaded into the Power BI desktop. You can see, as I said, in the data sections, it will list all the column names in the alphabetical order. You can see there are some symbols for the sigma. Sigma means,
Mm.
hope you can see my cursor. It means it is a number, you know.
Right.
And also, if there is no any symbol, it means it is the alphanumeric column. And yeah, uh, yeah. So. Yeah, that's about the data. So if you go to that table view, now you can see the data as a Excel format.
Mm.
Earlier,
Right.
it's blank, but you can see there are nearly 10,000 record rows there. So like in the Excel, we can do the filter. You can sort as ascending order. There are many things we can do. Okay, if you want to change the format of the data set, simply we can s- change the data type into datetime, text or binary, true false, and we can change the format as well. So those things we can do in the Power, because sometimes in the source systems, either Excel or database, they don't keep the correct formats. But when you are doing some calculation in the Power BI, we have to change the data format. So we can
Right.
have that feature, the capabilities in the Power BI desktop. So then I can show one thing. Now you would have a question under people and the returns. We can't see the proper column name. If I go to my Excel, you can see return, the column name is return and order ID, and the
Mm.
people, it's persons and the region. But
Mm.
in my Power BI desktop file, it's mentioned as the column 1 and column 2. It's not the appropriate way.
Mm.
So it's a purposely I have created that one. So this is a data error. So we have to rectify that one. If not, you can see there are two columns for column 1 as column 1. So we have to rename that one in a correct way. So I will show you how to rename that columns. This is traditional. Every time we are having such kind of issues when we are working with the Excel. So in order
Mm.
to change or in order to transform, you explained about the ETL, extract,
Yeah,
transformation, and loading. So in the Power BI desktop also, I did the extraction part. I extract data from
I
the
see.
Excel to Power BI desktop. Then we have to do some transformation. So to do the
Ah.
transformation, we have a separate interface for that in the Power BI desktop. So in order to get that, you can see there's a menu called transform data. It means you
Mm.
have to convert, you can calculate, or you can generate some data based on the existing data. You can use this interface. So I will click on this interface, then it will open the Power BI core editor. This is very powerful tool in the Power BI desktop. You can add, you can transform, you can format your data. In this platform, you can write the DAX queries as well. Even simply, in the Python, you are doing some coding like if else, and you can do some conditional formats. Everything we can do here. I think in the next
Wow.
sessions, coming sessions, we can discuss each and every features with this Power
Absolutely,
BI.
Pubudu.
Yeah.
I think we can have deep dives on the coming session, especially for transformation. I think this is you want you you can't get away with data transformation, isn't it?
Yes, it's a never-ending thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a
Right.
never-ending thing because
Right.
business are changing,
Yes.
their strategies are changing. So based on that, they top management, CXOs asking to change the visualizations and everything. And
Right.
every time, each and every time, we have to change the transformation logics. We have to change the visualizations, and it's kind of a never-ending thing if you
Right.
are working in the data engineering field or business
Exactly.
intelligence. It's a huge opportunity. It's not like traditional software development. So if the
Right.
software developed, it's done. So we have
Yes.
to find another project. But here
Correct.
it's not like that. Once we develop and deploy a dashboard for the business users, then
Mhm.
gradually they ask us to change that dashboard. It means we have work.
Yeah. That's I've never come across this perspective, but thanks for sharing that perspective with us. I think I'm pretty sure everyone will understand it's the value and the yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So now you can see in the left, left top corner, we have the queries. It's called queries. So I think in the people and the return, we had that issue. So if you click on these people, you can see my actually the person and the region is the column headers. So mistakenly, the Power BI desktop identified the Power BI desktop didn't identify the column names. So basically, what we can do is there's a button called use first row as header, because first row is the header, but Power BI desktop didn't identify that one. So I will click on this one, use first row as header. You can see my cursor. So once I click on this one, automatically it will remove that column 1 and column 2, and it appear in a proper way. So if you click on the return, I will do the same thing. Then return then order ID. Okay. Then I have done everything. So we can close and apply. There are later we can discuss those things. So you can see in the, like Excel. I said this is similar to Excel. We can do the splits and replace and group by, use first row head. Even we can run some Python and
Wow.
Python scripts, R scripts, lot of things we can do here. So
Mm.
yeah, if you want to visualize your data set in a statistical way, you can use on top of the Power BI desktop. So yeah, so now I close and apply this one, and you can see it will change in few seconds here. See, now it has
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Oh,
appeared in a correct
nice.
way. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think as of now we I explain how to install that Power BI desktop. Then I can how to import Excel data into the Power BI desktop. So the next step will be creating some models.
Mm.
Yeah, models means if you are familiar with the Excels, we normally doing the VLOOKUPs, and we are joining multiple sheets in we are joining some multiple Excel sheets and the workbooks. So in order to do that, uh, so if we are doing same thing in the Power BI desktop, what we are doing is we import each and every Excel sheet into the Power BI desktop, then
Mm.
we build a model on top of the Power BI desktop. So that
Mm.
is for the Excel. But if you are working in the relational databases, what we are doing is we do the normalizations, and we have multiple
Right.
tables. And in the
Right.
data warehouses, we have facts and dimensions. So what we can do is we can import all the facts and dimensions tables into the Power BI desktop file. We can join through the surrogate keys. You know,
Ah, this is very nice. A
yeah.
very interesting thing. Yeah. I think this is where this star and snowflake schemas comes into play.
Yes, yes, exactly. Now, since we are using in the Excel, I'm working with the Excel sheets data. But definitely, if you want to connect to the data lake house or data
Mm.
warehouse, then uh, in the data lake house, we have facts and dimensions for the
Right.
visualization purposes. So we have to import all the facts and dimensions tables. So based on their relation, we have to join. Then we can create that models, and then we identify what are the relationships behind that.
Right. That makes sense, Pubudu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I go to that model section, model view, the good thing is, by looking at the data automatically, it will identify the data, because it's a feature of the Power BI desktop. But
I
if
see.
you think this relationship is wrong, simply you can delete. You can create your own relationship.
Right.
Okay. So I will show you the relationship in the Excel sheet. So you can see in the order sections, we have these columns: order ID, uh, yeah, order date, and the regions as well. Okay. So if you go to the returns, we have order ID. Then there's a relationship. The order ID, the return sheet order ID, we can join with the orders region ID. Sorry, orders order ID. Okay.
Right. Uh,
Then
Pubudu, sorry for the silly question, but
mm,
uh, I'm not a power user of Excel.
mhm.
So, uh, but in Excel, what's the way of representing different relation? Let's say you have table in relational stable databases, we have tables, but in Excel, do we have different sheets for tables, or is that right
Yeah,
way?
yeah. Actually, now, for example, if we take the relational database, normally we are keeping different tables to store their specific purposes. For example,
Yes,
student
right,
and courses. So, student
correct. Yeah,
table we are maintaining student data. Course table we are maintaining course data. Like in yeah. So in the Excel, what we are doing is we can have two sheets in the same workbook.
I see. Right,
So
right.
then student data we can keep in the student sheet, and course data we can see in the course sheet.
Very
Like,
clear.
yeah,
Yeah,
like that in this workbook, basically in the orders data we keep in the orders sheet. Returns data, return yes order ID, those are
right,
the columns, so we keep in the return sheet. And people we can keep. So if you have additional data, for example, let's say return, so what let's say new orders,
right,
let's say, likewise
right.
you can add new sheets here and you can keep that
I
one.
see.
But
And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and if you want to join those things, normally in
Mm,
the Excel, what we are
yeah.
doing is we do the VLOOKUPs. There's a
I think,
concept called we can
yeah.
look up those things. So it's something like create a relationship between different sheets. Like,
it-
in the relational databases, we are doing some joins, SQL joins.
right,
The
right,
same thing we can do the VLOOKUPs, and we can identify matching records, non-matching records. Like, in
right,
the
right.
SQL, we can do inner join, left outer, right
Yeah,
outer joins. Same thing. Concept is same, but there are different ways we can use. Conceptually, it is same.
right, right. And then we can use foreign keys, I think, between these sheets to link certain records.
Yes, yeah, yeah. You can see the order ID. It's a primary key for this sheet. But
Right.
again, if you think about the returns, it is the foreign key.
Okay,
But they
okay.
are not mentioning like that because we are coming from the database background, so we
Yes.
are thinking in that way. But
Right,
it's conceptually it is foreign key for this one.
right. All makes clear. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Okay, so I think now we are going to create the model, so we can see all the columns in each sheets. We can expand this one. So basically, you can see I'm going to create a relationship between order ID from orders table, and simply you can drag and drop. No need
Mm,
to create a write, select query, so join. So then it will identify the relationship. Then you can see from table orders, you can select whatever the column. It's automatically selected. And you can mention the one to one, one to many, like in the
right,
relational databases we are
right,
maintaining cardinality, we can do. So automatically they will identify it is one to many. Okay.
right.
So, and also cross filter direction. So I it's a, bit advanced thing, so I think later we can discuss when we are doing with the filtrations. Okay,
Exactly.
anyway,
Yeah.
we can have single or both. It means bidirectional we can filter data.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's a simple thing, but there are some additional things later we can discuss. Okay, then I will save this one. Then you can see in the people sections we have the region, and the order sections we have the region. Then
Mm,
simply you can drag and drop this one. Again, it automatically it has identified.
right.
Then yeah, now it has identified. Now it's some kind of a relational database. Or
Yes.
we look up Excel sheet, and everything it's connected.
That means, Fudu, if I change this region in some place, and it will automatically get reflected in the other referencing tables, foreign tables, isn't it?
Yes, if you change this Excel sheets data, for example, if you change your data in here,
Uh-huh.
okay, so let's say if you are adding a new region for this
Right.
sheet,
Yeah.
then what you have to do is you have to go to this one and you have to click this refresh button. Then it will
Ah,
reflect under this people section.
wow.
If you click on this one, now you can see under people we have 4 records. Now if
Hmm.
I add a new record here, let me, I will save this Excel.
Hmm.
Then if I go to there and refresh, so actually no need to refresh everything. I can
Right.
just, yeah, click this refresh this one.
Sorry to make it slow.
No, no. No, let me cancel this one and I will refresh only this one. You can see I can refresh only people data.
Yeah, and it will
Mm.
only pick up the deltas, I
Yeah,
think.
delta side. So you can see test data is there. So no need to
Nice.
worry.
I think this is a really good one. Good. This is more practical. I think as more facts change, I think, the central database will get updated without doing
Yes, that's true.
manual things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I think now we have built the visualization, sorry, model.
Mhm.
Now next step, our final step is build some visualizations. So
Right.
yeah, that's the some kind of a hectic part. It's a UIX basically, UI UX
Right.
thing, because sometimes if I develop the dashboard,
Mm.
sometimes you may happy with that, but others not like that. So
Right.
they ask us to change the layout, visualizations, font color, font size, everything. It's little bit controversial thing. So in that situations, what we are doing is we are building some kind of a template. It's easy for
Right.
us. So we maintain the consistency in each pages, each dashboard. If not, time to time from different departments, people request different changes.
Right.
It's a never ending thing. It's a disaster basically.
Right.
Yeah. So as a best practice, what we are doing is we are creating some template,
Okay.
including the logo and the report
Hmm.
title and the refresh date and filters. We define the template, then we deliver the dashboards and the reports. That's the best practice. So here actually I'm not creating any templates or
Mhm.
anything, just visualize the uh, some visualizations.
Right.
Okay. So simply we can add some text here. Let's say uh, sales dashboard. Then if you want, you can change the font size, something like this. And it's very easy, something like Excel. Let's say, oh, sorry, I think I have missed the first letter. Yeah, bold. Yeah. Oh,
That's the, like you said, it's hectic.
yeah,
So
it's hectic. It's some kind of a,
yeah, you
sometimes
need,
I am thinking it's something like a graphic design thing.
yeah, you need to have
But yeah,
yeah, I think it's a culmination of user experience design and then
exactly.
so
Yeah, let's say now, as you said earlier, we should familiar with the domain, I mean the data set. So now
yeah.
I have some experience with the data set. So straight away I am creating some visualizations and I will explain. Okay. So
Mm,
first there are different charts as I explained earlier, the column charts and stack bar charts. So
mm.
for example, I will take clustered column chart, similar to the Excel. So simply I wanted to display, let's say, uh, category wise, let's say profit.
Right.
Yeah, in the x-axis I am taking the category, just drag and drop my values into the x-axis field. Then for the y-axis I am putting, let's say quantity.
Mm,
You can see automatically it will display.
right. Did you specify some at some place? Oh,
No,
oh, all right. Right.
yeah, the thing is automatically it will add that aggregation function by
Ah,
Power
nice.
BI
That's
desktop.
right.
Yeah, but if you want, you can change the aggregation function like
Aggregation
average.
function.
And also, like I said in the DAX queries, we can do the
Mhm.
same thing. We
I
can
see.
create some calculated columns. It's called
Ah,
measures. In the data
right.
warehousing, we are using measures. So we
Measures,
can
yes.
create that measures. So you can see here we can create some measures from this
Mm,
component. So that
right.
feature is there. So yeah, we can do this one. And also so now, as I said earlier, this is UI UX. So if you want to change the format of this visualization, simply you
Right.
can click on these format these visualizations, all the components available in as Excel. As Excel you can do the changes here. You can
Right.
see if you want to font size in the x-axis values. I just explained. Yeah, yeah. Before that, I will show you by default the data labels disable. So I enable that one. It is
Mm,
this format. So if
right.
you want to change the, for example, values, so I will change. It is let's say I am not going any display units. It will give the exact value. And if you
Mm,
want to display units, let's say thousands, it's 23K. And decimal point
okay.
zero, you can see I will remove none. Decimal points, no, not that, there's no any decimal point. So if you want to change the font color, you can see it's
Mm,
changed the font color. So likewise we can do. I'm not going to go through each and every section. So if you're familiar with those things, definitely you have to practice that one. That's the only thing.
right.
You should know where should I change to apply this change in the visualizations. So if once you develop few dashboards, then automatically it will familiar for you. No need to worry about that. The only thing is you have to practice.
Yes. Practice
Even some,
make.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
I think the UI is pretty self-explanatory, and then if you if you give it a couple of times, try, and then you will figure out it naturally. I think. Yeah.
exactly. So this is one example, that the one visualization. So if I go to this one, let's say if you are adding some donut chart, sorry. Uh, I will click on the canvas again, then drag and drop this one, and you can see there's a region. So simply I will add the region, then it will identify the region, then I will add the profit. I wanted to see the region wise profit, then
Mm,
I add the like this.
right.
Okay,
And
so yeah, we can use the utilize the space max, yeah, in this way.
right.
And those are the visualizations. Then I will show you a simple table. Sorry, because I have to click the canvas. So this is something like traditional way we are using in the Excel sheet.
Right.
So I have expand in this way, and let's say customer name. I will add the columns for this one. The customer
Mhm.
name wise and order ID. We have to see
Right.
some data in the tabular way. Um Order, then
Mm,
let's say order date. Sorry, yeah, it should not be there. Product ID and the quantity. You can see everything
right.
will
Right.
display. Yeah, likewise we can do. Then I will add another visualization here. Let's say I think we add there's a column called segment. I want to get the segment wise sales again. Consumer, corporate, home office. Those are the visualizations we can create. And
Right.
key important I have to highlight. I think this is the last step. So I think then we can wind up this session. So now the all the visualizations display the data for the uh, it display for over the period.
Right.
But as a business user, they have to filter out the
Mm,
data for a
right.
specific period. Okay, for example, let's say uh, you want to yeah, again I have noticed one thing. So you can see the order date. Actually order date display in a different format, but what happened. Yeah, can you see my screen, Dunit?
Yeah. Yeah. All good.
Yeah, for example, let's say here we have the state. So as a regional managers, they wanted to see their data state wise. So
Right.
simply
Right.
we can drag and drop the slicer here. Slicer means it's a drop down.
Hmm.
So where's the slicer? Yeah, this is the slicer. So
Mm.
simply I select this one, and I will add this state for this slice. Then you can see we can display this as the I think it has changed, because earlier it was there. Now they have changed. Time to time they are changing the. Uh,
Right. Right. It's very
got
dynamic
the, yeah,
product, I
yeah.
think. I think I got the idea. I think
Mhm.
it's about slicing and dicing your data.
Yes,
I think you can slice by the state, so
yeah,
the state can be picked from the drop-down list, I think.
yeah. You can see here in the drop down. So now you
Ah,
can
okay.
see
Right.
states. You can select. This is
Gotcha.
the picture of the Arizona, the US states, US
Right.
data set. This is the US data set, and if you want to select the multiple selections, then you
Uh-huh.
can do. For example, this is the multiple selection, and if I select all, so now you can see I can do again. It's if you want to select straight away, select
Mm.
all, then select, and if you want to uncheck and specify the specific states, then you can do. Based on that it will change. Even this applicable for dates as well.
This is interesting because once you change this master widget, all the
Mhm.
other widgets will get automatically refreshed. Is it?
Yeah, it's responsive, because we have
Ah,
created that logic, the model here, and data
got
is
it.
coming in a single form, source of truth. That's
Right.
why it's changed. So if you change data, since once if you change the source data, and if you refresh this one, uh, still it is changing according to the source data.
Mhm. Right. Right.
Yeah, I think then let's say just assume this development is completed. So if you have the license, then you can publish this one. So once you click on this one, you have to change this one. So save this one, then you can publish. And once you publish into the Power BI services, you can share this dashboard, with other users in the organization.
Uh,
Only, yeah, only in the same organization, because we bind with our licensing and the licensing. So if you want to publish this one for public, then we have to publish in a different way. That feature is available.
right. I think you brought into a new interesting area. So let's say my manager. So let's say he's a regional sales manager, and I'm a data analyst, and he asked me to create this report. Like you said, I just came up with this dashboard, and then is that the by publishing? Is it the right way of sharing this report with him?
Yes, yes, because normally what we are doing in the Excel, we create some visualizations and analysis, and
Right.
we can share the Excel file, or we can take the screenshots and we can share with the business users. So it's not a dynamic; it's a static thing.
Right.
In a way, Excel visualization is the static, but sorry, dynamic, but it's not up to date, because once we share that Excel sheet with the other users, they don't have if they don't have that capability to manipulate those data or transform this data, they can't do anything. But it's not like that. So once we shared our Power BI desktop with other users, then let's say if we change our data set from our end, it
Hmm.
will reflect for other users as well.
Right. That's interesting, Pubudu. So in that case, my manager has to have Power BI desktop installed in his workstation, or
No,
mandatory?
in that case, your manager should have that Power BI Pro license, and I should have
Okay.
Power BI Pro license. No need to have that Power BI desktop, because Power BI desktop is the dashboard reports development environment.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. And typically, practically, what happens is I just drop a mail to my manager, and that inside that email, he can there will be some kind of a link, and then once he clicks that, it will
Yes,
redirect to uh, these corporations, Power BI server or something like that, isn't
yes.
it?
In addition to that, the Power BI service itself, we can give the access, and we can give the everything we have. We have that single sign-on feature. So simply
Okay,
we can add as the reader for this dashboard in the Power BI services. Then we can notify for the user, hey, we have given the access for this dashboard, so you can access that one. So those features is available.
Um, so I think Pubudu, this is fantastic, and then I'd like to open up for questions. If anyone has questions, you can ask it in the chat, or you can directly unmute and you can
Yeah,
ask. This is really good session, Pubudu. I think we need to continue this Power BI track, and in the future, I'd like to for you to share your experience with Microsoft Fabric as well. So
sure,
whenever you have
definitely.
time, yeah,
We can do a series of sessions in the Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. Now it's a growing area. There are a lot
exactly.
of job opportunities we can see, and it's a huge demand, because technology is growing, and technology, we have to use that technology. Then the organizations are trying to use that data and AI technology. So
Right.
I think in the future, there will be a huge demand for data.
Right.
And
In your experience with, I know you've been working like few years in Sri Lanka as well. So, based on your experience, what was the demand for Power BI for newcomers? Let's say I'm a fresh graduate. I just graduated from my university. When I'm looking for a job, I see Power BI as a demanding qualification. Is it true? Or what's your opinion?
yeah, it's true 100%, because if you are in Sri Lanka, it's a top jobs. I'm not, this is not a marketing thing. So if
Right.
you take the top jobs, I think recently I haven't checked, but early days, weekly there will be 5 to 6 job opportunities in the
I
top.
see. Right.
Even in the LinkedIn also, I have seen
Hmm.
a lot of job opportunities. In if I say in the Canada or North American region, if you check in the LinkedIn, there are a lot of job opportunities available. The thing is, still they are working with the Excel, but they wanted to migrate from Excel to Power BI or that proper data visualization platform.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, the other thing is, Dunit, sometimes in here also, a lot of people are trying to work with the AI, artificial intelligence,
Right.
but they
Right.
don't know how to do. I think you are the expertise on that area, but still they haven't implemented the proper data solution, data
Right.
infrastructure. I mean, by using Excel sheets, we can implement the AI solutions. Definitely, we have to go with the data lake house or data warehouse, but
Correct.
still
Correct.
the top leaders struggling to move their data into the proper data solutions. Still they
Right.
are trying to use the still they are using excel or whatever the traditional databases, and still they can't move to the AI. Definitely we have to go to that the solid data solutions.
Yes, that you made a good point. I think it's all about companies' strategic vision of using data for their uh, improving their business. I think grow revenue and reduce cost and make their customers happy. I think it all matters with the skill set they have and the amount of data they have. I think you made a good point. Some like high tech companies like Netflix scale,
Mhm.
these companies, they produce petabytes of data on a daily basis, and then
Exactly.
of course they need cost efficient scalable storage, and that way they must have to have some kind of a data like house or something with schema enabled, transaction enabled, and then they have big budgeted uh, data science departments. But for a small company starting small, you can always start your journey with a Excel file, and you can push it to the hard, the max, and then once you figure out, okay, Excel is too old for me, and then you can plan out for your next say, steps. So could be data warehouse or a lake house. I think Pubudu,
Yeah,
I think I
I
don't see
think,
any.
Dunit, sorry, one more thing I have to share
Sure.
here. So actually, I have a YouTube channel.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, so
please.
basically, let me. This is my personal YouTube channel. So sorry, I think I click on the wrong one. Yeah,
I'll make sure to send a link to your YouTube channel
yeah.
after the event. Yeah.
So I think there are a couple of videos I have created actually not for. I have worked in different data engineering fields, so Databricks and other stuff also. I have even Oracle. I work
Wow,
every days. So basically, if you go to the playlist, there's a playlist called Power BI. Sorry.
this is nice.
So under this, I have explained everything. It's I think 2 or 3 years ago, but it explained how to install and how to export Excel data and how to create a model and how to build a visualization. Same data set I have used there. So we will share this my YouTube channel's link as well. Then if anything missed or actually in this dashboard in this video I have explained the proper dashboard like I developed. Yeah, uh, actually today we just developed a simple one, but here actually I have developed some comprehensive one. So
Mm.
you can refer those 4 videos. Same thing I have explained here. So while you are doing, if you have any questions, you can send me a message or you can comment on that. So everything I have mentioned there. So if anything missed, you can use that one as well. Yeah, that's all from my end, Dunit. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Pubudu. And if there, I don't see any questions in the chat as well. So as a tribute to Pubudu, so if you can turn on your webcam so that we can have a screenshot. I think Hasita will take the screenshot. So, Pupudu, if you can stop sharing for one
Mhm.
your screen, and then we can all have turn on our webcams, and then we can smile and say hi to each other.
Uh, Excuse me, I have
Ye-
a small correction.
Yes, Madhuka. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I am Madhu Virgon from Dewagama. So I am currently work as a data engineer.
Mhm.
So I mainly use the Streamlit for the visualize the dashboard. So my question is, so in a Dewagama, we mainly use the ETL to collect the data, and we store those in the S3 bucket. So those mainly in the it has a table in S3. So is there a way to get those data into the Power BI? So mainly Power BI work with the Excel. So we want to transform the collected data to Excel to use the Power BI, or is there any way to do that?
Yeah,
I
I will
think I,
take that.
yeah, I think I can rephrase that question. So basically, Madhuga has been working with some data in the data lake. It's a S3 bucket, I think. I know that use case a little bit. And then he wants to bring this data over to Power BI and uh, do some kind of magic like you just mentioned. So what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, the thank you, Madhuka, for your question. And yeah, I'm happy you are working with that S3 and AWS related stuff. So basically, S3 is the storage in the AWS. So directly we can connect Power BI with the S3 buckets. But if it is the unstructured data or something like that, then what we can do is we can extract those data from S3 buckets to data lakehouse, and then we can connect that data lakehouse with the Power BI desktop. There are multiple options we can do based on your business requirement and the budget. The important thing is the budget, so we can use that one. Sure, we can connect straight away between S3 buckets and the Power BI desktop. You
Yeah,
can
I
work on that.
remember you showed the option of connecting to a Parquet list of Parquet files. So
Yeah.
I think there must be a way. Good question, Madhuka, and that's a really good one. All right. If there's no question, I think it's getting late for folks in Sri Lanka. So let's turn on our webcams and say take the picture. I think Hasita can take the picture. All right. All right. I think yeah, good.
Yeah. Is everyone turning on?
Right. Okay. Thank you, Indunil. You just turned on your camera.
Hi, Drill. How are you?
Hi, Madhuka.
Hi.
Hi, Dasul. Hi. Thanks for turning. I think we are in a good shape.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And huge thank you to, just to wrap things up, huge thank you to Pubudu joining early in the morning for his time, but it's Saturday. But thanks a lot, Pubudu. I think this is not going to be the last session. We need you to be on, you need to be our recurring host for recurring sessions. So probably we can do more deep dives on Power BI and Microsoft Fabric and Azure Databricks as well. So please stay tuned for more Pubudu's appearings in the show. So thank you very much. And then thanks for everyone who joined and stayed this late. So it's been, I think, what's the time in Sri Lanka now? So it's
9:30 p.
9:30. So
9:35.
yeah, thanks a lot for everyone. I hope this is you enjoyed the session and learned something. So I'll give me a couple of days. I'll uh, edit the recording and send you all the links to all these resources along with the email. So expect an email from me in a couple of days. So yeah, and finally, thank you Hasita and the DeliverGate team for organizing and promoting this across social media and everything. This means a lot. So in the meantime, if you want us to cover more topics like practical topics like Power BI in the future, let us know. So we would happy to take your request and make a dedicated session as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. See you in next month.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Pubudu. It was an interesting session actually. It came from the basic, and we got idea how to use the Power BI and this stuff. So hopefully we can get a few more sessions regarding that one to continue the things. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Thank you, Hasida. Thanks. That's good feedback as well. All right. Bye. Cheers.
See you. Bye.